So today we'll be doing a VOD review of my own support gameplay from my stream. I'm gonna tell you right now, probably be due to gameplay and I'll most likely be in extreme pain just for me watching this, but hey, I gotta learn somewhere. But anyways, this is a Masters rank match, and as you can see, I immediately check on my other support's profile to see who and what I'm working with. And fortunately, but unfortunately for me, it's a Mercy main. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful to have like another Mercy in my team, but the only problem is well, you know, I'm also a Mercy main, so yeah. But we don't have to worry about that because I think, my personal opinion, I'm not too bad on Kiriko. Like, yeah, sometimes my cleansing isn't the best. I mean, we'll probably see later on in the video, but you know, practice makes perfect. Alright, so the match starts, and I'm just juggle peeking here and on the side, making sure a Widow doesn't headshot me, or a Sword Drone for that matter. You know, making sure they're alive, and the moment I turn around, my Widow's dead, so that's great. I don't know if the Mercy's gonna res here, probably, but did you see that? That was a pretty good cleanse, personally, for me there. Giving myself a pat on the back. Okay, so there's nothing too crazy going on here. I just stay semi in the back, giving myself a wider field of view, making sure everyone's okay. Monkey jumps. Luckily, it doesn't really get anyone. And then my Sigma is really low, and luckily I had cleanse, so he was able to live. Widow, yeah, not so much. I keep an eye on my Mercy just in case she tries to go for the res, but fortunately she doesn't. And for some weird reason, my mind thought she was gonna like be with them, so I cleansed because I saw that she was slow. Now it's not looking so good for us. Our Mercy dies, so I immediately back off and let the Reaper frontline for me. And then Sigma dies and Reaper dies, so I immediately run back to my Sojourn and, you know, just regroup. Oh, don't mind me. Just missing all my shots here. You know, no big deal. Alright, so I look around me to see where my team is, and we're all finally regrouped. You know, making sure everyone's okay. And here we see the classic "I need healing" spam phrase. What a classic. Alright, so everyone and their moms are burning ults like crazy, so just being the cautious me, I Kitsune trying to keep everyone alive. So far, everything's looking fabulous. The Kitsune was pretty good. I think it could have been better if it was positioned slightly more to the right, so we can have that full maximum length, but other than that, it wasn't too shabby. And I definitely could have saved that Sojourn, but you know, if not, I would not have had that cleanse to save the Sigma, so maybe it was a good play. Heading back, our Mercy unfortunately dies, so we have to play extra cautious here. I noticed our Sojourn in trouble, so I teleported and immediately cleanse. Sadly, everyone is extremely low and Kiriko can only do so much to heal. Our Sigma unfortunately dies, and then I turn around, seeing if Mercy's close so I can help her fly to me. Luckily, she managed to Guardian Angel towards me. I cleansed out of fear, which was a mistake on my part because nobody was low at the time. But thankfully, Reaper helped clean up the enemy team. Now, the second fight starts, and Sojourn peeks the window and immediately dies, so my Mercy flies back to me, then I keep an eye on my Reaper. Then I look over, and our Hog isn't looking too good, so I teleport to him and save him. I continue to heal, but there's just too many obstacles in my way, so, you know, I never ended up properly healing him. He just kind of healed himself, you know? So I get Kitsune again and continue to heal my Hog. Everything seems relatively calm, and once you know it, both Kiriko and Winston dive me. So I'm over here running for my life and then counter them by ulting. Honestly, it was a pretty good ult because it made them back out and retreat. So our hog dies, but my Lord and Savior Reaper ults and I hide into his ult trying to keep him alive as long as possible. Then the enemy Winston begins to clap both of my cheeks into oblivion. Now, something I did wrong here was cleanse myself instead of our Mercy. Our Mercy was critical, me? I wasn't. So that was a really bad play on my part. Saving that Mercy could have increased our chances of winning that fight. On to the third point. We all slowly backed up and regrouped because our Reaper ended up dying. So I just sit in the back and slowly healed our D.Va until she's full. Now, right here I'm at a really bad angle right now because I'm clearly not healing anyone. So thankfully I have a Rain and teleported closer to our D.Va to give her some better healing. Now, everyone from our team is up here, so it's pretty scary because I don't want anyone to get headshotted and killed, including me. So I kind of circle around and keep an eye on everyone, making sure everyone's full health, everyone's good. Then our D.Va goes in, ults, I cleanse, making sure she's okay, but I'm pretty sure it didn't reach her. Now, the enemy Kiriko, on the other hand, ults, but unfortunately she ults too late, so she doesn't really get anyone, which is good for me, but really bad for the enemy. I have my ultimate, so I have to play really safe here. If not, I will 100,000,000% cost us a game, and I really don't want to do that. So I go up to the high ground where my D.Va is to give me some extra protection, and thankfully I have a really good DPS on my team, so they end up killing them off one by one. And I cleanse I cleansed a little late on that Reaper. Like, I should have been more reactive towards that. I was definitely pretty slow on that, so I need to work on that. Kiriko, in my opinion, is a really overpowered support. She's basically like Baptiste and Mercy combined into one. She can travel really fast, and she basically has an immortality grenade that she can just throw to wherever and whoever she wants. But enough about that. I look at the time and ended up ulting early to hopefully get some early picks, but the enemy Genji beats us to it and kills off our Sojourn and Mercy. I unfortunately couldn't do anything about that. I can only do so much with the Kiriko cleanse. I teleport back quickly and start to heal anyone and everyone I see. Our Reaper ults, but the enemy Zen manages to use his ult just in time to save his team. Now, what I should have been doing is trying to break that bubble, but instead I just kind of stare at it. Then I use a bad Kiriko cleanse on D.Va. She ults and unfortunately doesn't get anyone. And then Winston does what he does best, is clapping cheeks, and I end up dying. This isn't looking good for us. We're down both supports, and now it's only up to Reaper to touch. He waits a bit, teleports, and luckily kills in. Like I said, we had an amazing team this match. I ended up teleporting, cleansing, trying to stall as much as I can, but unfortunately, we all died. Now, we're on attack, and you have to be really careful exiting these doors because literally almost anyone can headshot you and kill you easily. But thankfully, the enemy team wasn't holding close, so we were okay. I look over to the ping and notice Genji's on our left. I took a mental note, then literally out of nowhere, he ends up killing our Sojourn. I keep an eye on our Mercy Resi just in case if she needs a Kiriko cleanse, but luckily she didn't. I quickly teleport to our Hog because he started to become low and end up healing him. Our Sojourn again ends up needing healing, but thankfully our Mercy's there to help her out. Our Reaper dies, but it doesn't really matter because we're still going strong and holding our ground. I keep on pocketing our Hog constantly, making sure he's nice and healthy. Now, the mistake I made here was not listening to my surroundings, and I didn't even notice our Mercy was critical. I ended up going to her late and cleansing her late. That was 100% my fault. But I end up kind of juggle peeking healing here. And yet again, I probably was like a second late. I really need to practice on my cleanse timing because those were 2 deaths that could have been prevented, but luckily Mercy came back in time and potentially carried me. Now, we're all pushing payload, and I noticed that I'm pretty close to my ultimate, and I remember during this time, I was debating whether to use my ultimate for this fight or not. Now, I'm at a pretty bad position right now because I'm smack dab in the wide open, so I ended up shuffling my way to the left, and ultimately, I used my ultimate, just to kind of secure our victory here. I kind of knew that hopefully I'll be able to get my ultimate again, so I wasn't too worried about quote unquote wasting that ult. I think it was better to play it safe than sorry. Now, me and Reaper are just having fun and vibing on the cart, and he ends up leaving me all by my lonely self. So I just chill on the cart, keep an eye on everyone, kind of goofing around, and I teleport to Hog because I don't know why, I just got really scared that he was gonna like instantly die. And he is kind of low, but I have to trust in my other support that she'll hopefully heal him. And just ignore that I misclicked. Now Reaper is low and spams for his dear life, but my Mercy is there to help him out and make sure everyone is a-okay. Now all 3 of us are on their cart to push payload a bit faster, which I greatly appreciate. Now they are rotating to high ground, which is not good. So we kind of split, but Reaper ends up killing Lucio pretty early. And our Sojourn just pops off. And I literally do nothing but heal. What I could have done better? I guess I would say that Kiriko cleanse on the wall could have been avoided. I look off into the distance to keep a close eye on my teammates, and then the Reaper ends up killing the Lucio again. So now they're down a healer, which is wonderful news to us. So it gives us an opportunity for us to push forward, and the Hog ends up getting the Sojourn, and our Reaper is extremely low, so I immediately abandoned my post and rescued him from death. And luckily the cart was pretty close, so I just ended up hopping down and continued to push the cart. Our Sojourn dies, and next followed Reaper, so we had to quickly run and back out to regroup, but they quickly overwhelmed us and we ended up dying. Now here was a close call because Reaper was going in on the enemy team, which almost cost him his precious life, but I ended up healing him right away. I had to use cleanse on myself because I didn't want to end up dying to the Genji, so I quickly dashed away and began to hide with Sojourn, and they all started coming. So I quickly dashed to Mercy, she healed me up, I gave a little thank you because she did save my life, and quickly went to Hog to help support him, had Kitsune, was about to use it, and yep, used it perfectly, my opinion, because it didn't hit the cart, so that's definitely a plus. And yeah, my teammates used its full potential. Now I'm sitting on the cart again, hiding behind it, making sure I don't get hit, just in case they have like an Ashe, Widow, or Hanzo to get me. Mercy stays with me, but she quickly goes to our Sojourn because she has ult. Now both Hog and Reaper's health quickly drained, so I jump in and begin to heal. Unfortunately our Sojourn dies, so our Mercy flies to us and we're cornered, so I just unfortunately have to die here. Regrouped once again, and our Lord and Savior Reaper gets a kill off and we're able to push once again. I teleport to Hog and end up pocketing both him and Reaper. Then our Mercy unfortunately dies from Sojourn ult, and This part right here gets me both mad and sad at the same time. Like, did you see that? How did it not cleanse the hog there? Like, how? But anyways, everyone's dead. So I quickly, and I'm telling you, this is broken. I just immediately teleported to Mercy like a mile away, and I'm still alive. We wait a bit, and then once you know it, I noticed our Doom taking a bit of damage, so I go to him and give him a hand just in case. But we all somehow ended up here, so we ended up going straight to the cart. And yeah, let's keeping an eye on everyone. Um, See, I should have dashed sooner, because I could have definitely saved that Doom if I was there earlier. So that was my mistake. But also, I could have easily cleansed the pulse bomb as well. So double mistakes that could have been prevented by me. We're still alive and kicking on the cart, so that's definitely a good sign. I try to run as fast as my little legs can carry me. I teleport, damage D.Va, cleanse myself, get Mercy, and now I'm avoiding the Tracer. And thank God the Mercy is there to pocket the hell out of me. I Kitsune since I immediately got it. And, alright, I'm doing good so far. Unfortunately, our Reaper dies, but that doesn't matter because Mercy's the GOAT. We both now have 1 minute to push payload as far as humanly possible. So I hide in the back as usual, trying to get some sneaky headshots, heal a bit here and there, and I notice they have a Widow, so I immediately run into the room and hide. And then Sojourn kills Lucio, and let's just say that Lucio is not having a good day so far. Sojourn is overpowered. Prove me wrong. Alright, now the enemy team ends up rotating to the small room. We all shift our attention over there. Our hog's low, and I end up missing my cleanse. How embarrassing. Anyways, Reaper dies, but it doesn't really matter because our other insane DPS ends up ulting and killing everyone on site. Hog pushes up, critical. Tracer and Balls stalls as long as possible, and unfortunately they end up dying, and now it's just up to me and Hog. So I try to pocket him as long as possible. I Kitsune, hoping and dreaming of keeping my Hog up, but I was way too late on that Kitsune, and that was a really bad play on my part. Luckily, both our DPS ends up getting both the enemy supports, and we just end up being a cleanup crew. And then the enemy Lucio ends up being just a teeny tiny bit salty. Now, all we have to do is be better and faster than them. And surely we'll be able to do that, right? Yeah, surely. Everything's looking good so far, and we see their team crumble both physically and mentally right before our very eyes. They're not having a good time. Reaper gets a little too adventurous and ends up dying, but luckily our Mercy is there to save the day, and I keep a close eye on her, making sure she doesn't die. It's overtime now, so things are about to get a bit more hectic. The D.Va attempts to dive us, but it ends up being a horrible idea because the Sojourn's right next to us to protect us. And I end up killing the diva. Wow, look at my aim. It's amazing, isn't it? Now, I do not want to leave payload for any reason. In the past, I've cost us some games because I didn't end up realizing that we were in overtime and just decided to show my way away from the cart, costing us the game and losing. So, I do not want to relive that traumatic experience. So, I stay in the back, heal them, and then I notice my team falls back, so I kind of fall back as well. Our Mercy unfortunately dies, which is just really unlucky. I guess they had more ults than us. And if you notice here, I was so close to Kitsune. And then our Mercy as well was really close to her ult, and so was our Reaper. But it was just really unfortunate timing. We like literally 3 ults were so close, but ultimately in the end, we ended up losing. But what I could have done different, should probably be more reactive to that Mercy, honestly. I should have known that she was in trouble. I should have heard the Reaper there, should have teleported to her and quickly cleansed to save her. But in the end, we did the best we could, and I think it was a pretty good game. It was a really good game. It was fun, it was close, and in the end, we had a blast.